Dear friends, today I speak on research methodology. Research is not invention or discovery. That's what is said in Fundamentals of Books by Nagabhushan. Then what is research? Research is research. Means finding that already exists. It's greatly different from invention or discovery as you use the word in science. But research is finding that already exists. It's not something new, but less known, obscure, so far not known. That is research. But research in humanities, for example, literature, is different from research in social sciences. The very methodology applied in both fields, disciplines, is different. In social sciences, you have got fieldwork, inquiry, questionnaire, survey, using cameras and mobile phones and videos. That is different. But in literature, research is done more often in the libraries, sitting in the library. Usually, in literature, it's two types mainly. One is thematic research and other one is survey work. Some people do survey work. For example, one can do a survey of a certain genre, for example, short story of a novel of a period. Or you can say short story, the development of Indian English short story from 1950 to 2000, like that. Or development of novel, Indian English novel from 2000 to 2030, like that. Survey. Survey work it's not analytical or descriptive. It is a mere collection. But you have to go into the field and find out the resources and put them in a chronological order and carefully. That becomes a survey work. And the other one is the thematic, the subject wise work is there. For example, you can take a specific aspect of it. For example, feministic approach, psychological approach, sociological approach. So you can take any literary or non-literary approach to the poetry or the novels of some writer. And apart from these two, there is a thing called author studies. In an author study, what happens? The research scholar has to study all the novels written from the beginning to the end of his life. Sometimes it's very difficult. In case such an example of Margaret Atwood, who has written nearly 25 to 30 novels. It's humanly impossible to work on 30 novels in one's lifetime. So in that case, sometimes we do the later half or the early half. Or we take only her short stories collections or poetry or her travelogues. If she has written some books for children, we'll take only the books for children. So the segmental work is also done in research. But more often what we say the descriptive or analytical method of research. The main method that is followed in literary research is descriptive. Descriptive means describing, analyzing, interpreting, coming to a conclusion. But more often the students face with the problem, sees this problem and how to find out. What they say hypothesis. Nobody knows what is hypothesis. Hypothesis is a mere statement. It's an assertive statement. You have to make a statement based on certain internal evidences or external evidences. Do you have to prove or disprove in your dissertation? For example, you say that William Shakespeare was a feministic writer. If you make this statement, you have to prove by the study of his plays. Either you have to prove that he is feministic or not feministic. If at all you prove that you are feministic, you should have what kind of a feministic. Here, in his approach to life, you have to explain. So this is the method of literary research. When you take a particular approach to a writer, so you have to study everything, study through. Or you have to take the all novels or a plays of an author as a whole. So you have to explain. Hypothesis is a statement that one should keep in mind. Hypothesis does not come in the air. For that you have to use a literary survey. But more of our students do not know what literary survey is. Literature survey, they think that it is the survey of the literature, source of the beginning to that end, they light the historical survey of literature. But that is not the literary survey. Literature survey is the survey of the secondary sources. So that, keeping that in mind, when you make a survey of the secondary sources, what all the research has taken place on the particular author, you come to a conclusion after going through all the works, secondary sources, come to the conclusion that something is not done or touched so far. There, you make a hypothesis, you collect the primary sources, all his works, and secondary sources, and then begin to study. So besides this, there are other sources also. For example, letters are used, journals are used, interviews are taken into consideration. If the writer is alive, you go personally meet him and take the interview. For that you have to make a questionnaire. So this is the method of research, and after doing this research, one should write the first rough draft. That based on that problem, you have to do the design, and according to the design of the dissertation, you write chapters one by one, and your guide supervisor, whoever is, he will help you in going through the script and the language aspect, the content, and you make, in consultation with him, under his supervision, he helps you to make the first draft of dissertation ready. By going through each and everything, there are quotations, footnotes, endnotes, numbering, pagination, all these things. Very argument from the beginning to the end, he will go through and he approves. Only after approval of the guide, the end of the dissertation, and dissertation will be allowed to submit. Of course, there are the plagiarism checkup now. To plagiarism checkup, below 10%, you are allowed to submission, the dissertation, and first or second draft, that will be made into a final draft. And after the final draft, the scholar sends the dissertation. This is all about thesis writing. Of course, there are one book by Anderson, Thesis and Assignment Writing by Anderson, otherwise Writing of a Thesis and Research Paper by Dr. Mohsin. You just consult these two, three books, but that is not all. Okay, you have to go through everything and study meticulously, systematically, applying the theory. In consultation with the guide, you have to work.